Nathan Cole stood outside Romano's restaurant, watching his reflection in the frosted glass. The December wind cut through his navy pea coat, but the real cold came from inside his chest. He was 34 years old, and this was his first date in 5 years. 5 years since Carolyn passed away, leaving him alone with their baby daughter. 5 years of being both mother and father, of learning to braid hair through YouTube videos, of missing parent-teacher conferences because work ran late, of crying silently in the shower where Lucy could not hear him. Tonight was supposed to be different. His sister Emma had insisted, almost begging him to try. Just one dinner, she had said. Just one chance to remember what it feels like to be more than just a father. Nathan touched the pocket of his coat where Lucy's latest painting rested, folded carefully. She had drawn their family. 3 stick figures holding hands under a rainbow. The third figure had no face yet. Lucy had looked up at him with those ocean blue eyes so much like her mother's and whispered that maybe he could find someone too. Complete their picture. That memory pushed him through the door, the golden warmth inside the restaurant wrapped around him like a blanket. Candles flickered on white tablecloths, and the scent of rosemary and garlic filled the air. Soft piano music drifted from somewhere in the back, playing a melody that reminded him of Caroline. Everything reminded him of Caroline. He forced the thought away and approached the hostess, who guided him to a corner table beside a window overlooking the street where Christmas lights blinked in rhythm. With his nervous heartbeat, Nathan sat down, straightening his tie 3 times before giving up. His hands were shaking. He ordered water and checked his phone. The dating app message from Jennifer said she would arrive at 7. It was 6:58. He took a deep breath and reminded himself why he was here. Not for himself, though his sister would argue otherwise. He was here for Lucy, who asked him every night why other kids had 2 parents and she only had 1. He was here because loving his daughter meant giving her the best life possible. And maybe that life included someone else to read bedtime stories, to teach her things he did not know, to love her the way Caroline would have wanted. The door opened. A woman walked in, tall and elegant, with dark hair styled perfectly, and a burgundy dress that caught every eye in the room. She scanned the restaurant with the confidence of someone who had never been rejected, never been told she was not enough. Her eyes found Nathan, and she walked over with a smile that did not quite reach her eyes. When dreams collapsed, Jennifer sat down across from him. They exchanged pleasantries, the kind of careful conversation between 2 strangers trying to impress each other. She worked in marketing, traveled frequently, loved modern art and expensive wine. Nathan talked about his architecture firm, about the building he was designing downtown, about his passion for creating spaces where people could feel safe. He was careful, so careful, not to mention Lucy. Not yet. He wanted Jennifer to see him first, as a man. Not just as a father, but Lucy had other plans. Nathan reached for his water glass, and the painting slipped from his pocket, landing face up on the table between them. The 3 stick figures holding hands stared up at both of them. The rainbow arched over their heads in 6 bright colors that Lucy had chosen so carefully. Jennifer picked up the paper.
Ow.
And Nathan watched her expression change. The polite interest faded, replaced by something colder, something that made his stomach drop. "You have a child," she said. It was not a question. Yes. Her name is Lucy. She just turned 6, and she loves painting and dancing, and I do not date men with children. Jennifer's voice was flat, final. She placed the painting back on the table with the care someone might use when returning a broken item to a store. "I am sorry, but that is not what I signed up for. I want someone who can travel with me, someone who has time and freedom. I want someone whose life is their own." She stood up, adjusted her purse, and left without another word. No apology beyond that first empty one. No acknowledgement that she had just told him his daughter made him unworthy of love. Nathan sat frozen. The painting still on the table, Lucy's rainbow mocking him with its innocent brightness. The piano music continued. The other diners kept eating, kept laughing, kept living their lives while his crumbled quietly in the corner. He felt small, invisible, like he had disappeared the moment Jennifer walked away. The voice from nowhere, he was reaching for his coat. ready to escape this place where his hope had died so quickly, when a voice spoke from the table beside him. "Would you consider marrying me?" Nathan turned. The woman at the next table was watching him with eyes that held something he recognized instantly because he saw it in his own mirror. Every morning, loneliness, deep, aching, impossible loneliness that no success or beauty or confidence could hide. She wore a black blazer over a cream blouse, professional and polished. Her brown hair fell in waves past her shoulders, and her hands folded neatly on the table were trembling slightly. She was beautiful in a way that seemed almost painful, as though being looked at hurt her somehow. "I am sorry," Nathan managed, his voice rough. "Did you just ask me to marry you?" She nodded once, her gaze never leaving his face. "I did, and I meant it." The entire restaurant seemed to hold its breath. Nathan stared at this stranger who had just asked the most insane question he had ever heard, and somewhere in the chaos of his thoughts, one thing became clear. This woman had seen everything. She had watched Jennifer reject him because of Lucy. She had seen his humiliation, his pain, his love for his daughter written across his face. And instead of looking away, instead of pretending not to notice, she had offered him something impossible. She had offered him a way forward. Nathan moved to her table without thinking, pulled by something he could not name. Fear, curiosity, desperation, or perhaps the simple fact that someone had seen his pain and chosen not to walk away from it. He sat down across from her, and up close, he could see the exhaustion written in the fine lines around her eyes. The way her smile was practiced but not genuine. The careful way she held herself as though one wrong move might shatter her completely. "My name is Victoria Stone," she said, extending her hand. Her grip was firm, professional, the handshake of someone who had learned to command rooms full of powerful people. "I am 36 years old, and I run an investment banking firm downtown. I have more money than I know what to do with, a penthouse apartment that echoes when I walk through it, and a family that sees me as a business transaction rather than a daughter." Nathan shook her hand, still too stunned to form words. Victoria pulled her hand back and wrapped both hands around her wine glass, though she did not drink from it. "I saw what happened," she continued, her voice softer now. "I saw the way you looked at that painting your daughter made. I saw the love in your eyes, the kind of love that has nothing to do with obligation or duty, a pure love. The kind that makes someone willing to walk into a restaurant even though they are terrified because they want their child to have everything they deserve." Nathan found his voice. "That still does not explain why you would propose to a complete stranger." Victoria smiled, and this time it was real, though sadness clung to its edges. "Because I have been where you are? Different circumstances, same loneliness. Different loss, same emptiness." The weight of truth, she took a small sip of wine, gathering her thoughts, and Nathan waited. Outside, snow began to fall, soft flakes drifting past the window like small pieces of heaven breaking loose. 4 years ago, Victoria began. I was engaged to a man named Robert Chin. He was a surgeon, brilliant and ambitious, and my parents adored him. We had the perfect life planned. A wedding at his family's estate, a honeymoon in Italy, children within 2 years. Everything was mapped out like a business plan. Her fingers tightened around the glass. Then, I found out I could not have children. A genetic condition, the doctors called it. Something that had been hiding in my body my entire life, waiting to destroy the one thing I had always assumed would be mine. I told Robert that same week. He left 3 days later. Nathan felt his chest constrict. "I am sorry." Victoria shook her head. "He told me he wanted a real family." Those were his exact words. A real family, as though I had somehow become less real the moment I could not give him biological children. My parents agreed with him. They said I should have told him sooner, that I had wasted his time, that no man would want damaged goods. "That is horrible," Nathan said, and he meant it. The anger he felt on her behalf surprised him with its intensity. "After that, my life became about work," Victoria continued. "I threw myself into building my company, into proving that I could be successful even if I could not be the daughter or wife everyone expected. I made my first million by 32, my 10th by 35. I bought the penthouse, the car, the designer clothes. I attended charity galas and business dinners. I smiled for photographs and gave speeches about women and finance. She paused, looking directly at Nathan. And every single night, I went home to an empty apartment and wondered if this was all my life would ever be. Success without meaning. Money without love. A perfect exterior hiding a broken interior. Understanding the proposal, Nathan leaned forward. So when you saw me tonight, you saw someone else who understands what it feels like to be rejected for circumstances beyond your control. Exactly, Victoria said, relief flooding her voice. That woman rejected you because you have a daughter, because she sees your child as an inconvenience rather than a blessing. My ex-fiancé rejected me because I could not have children, because he saw me as broken rather than whole. We have both been told that the things we cannot change about ourselves make us unworthy of love. She set down her wine glass and folded her hands on the table, her expression shifting from vulnerable to determined. But I do not believe that. I believe that your daughter is the most beautiful part of who you are. And I believe that my inability to have biological children does not mean I cannot be a mother to someone who needs one. The words hung in the air between them, heavy with possibility and impossibility in equal measure. You want to marry me so you can be a mother to Lucy? Nathan said slowly, testing the words. I want to marry you because we can help each other, Victoria corrected. You need a partner who will love your daughter as much as you do. Someone who will not see her as a burden or an obstacle. Someone who understands that being a parent is the greatest privilege, not an inconvenience. And I need a family. A real one, not the cold business arrangement my parents keep trying to force on me. I need a place to belong, a reason to come home that has nothing to do with work or success or proving anything to anyone. A business arrangement with heart. Nathan sat back, his mind racing. This was insane. People did not get married like this, did not build families on proposals made across restaurant tables to complete strangers. Yet something in Victoria's eyes, something honest and raw and desperately hopeful, made him hesitate before dismissing the idea entirely. What exactly are you proposing? He asked carefully. A business arrangement. A marriage of convenience? Victoria considered this. Initially, perhaps, a partnership built on mutual benefit and respect. You would get someone who genuinely wants to be part of your daughter's life. Someone with the resources to help provide for her future. I would get the family I've always wanted, the chance to be a mother even though biology says I cannot. And feelings. Nathan asked, Love? I do not expect you to love me, Victoria said quietly. How could you? We just met. But I hope that in time we could build something real. Friendship, at least. Maybe more if we are fortunate. But the foundation would be honesty, respect, and a shared commitment to giving your daughter the best possible life. Nathan thought of Lucy, of her question about why she only had one parent. He thought of the years stretching ahead, of always being alone. Of Lucy growing up thinking that loving someone meant they eventually left. He thought of Victoria's empty penthouse and her lonely nights. Of a woman who had everything except the one thing that mattered. This is crazy, he said finally. Completely crazy, Victoria agreed. And for the first time, her smile reached her eyes. But sometimes the craziest ideas are the ones that change everything. The first step, Nathan pulled out his phone and showed Victoria the lock screen. Lucy grinned up at them, her face covered in paint from an afternoon art project. Her missing front tooth giving her smile a goofy charm. This is Lucy, he said. She is 6 years old. She loves painting and dancing and asking 10,000 questions about everything. She has nightmares about her mother even though she barely remembers her. She puts ranch dressing on everything, even pancakes. She is afraid of the dark but pretends not to be because she thinks it makes her brave. She is the entire reason I wake up every morning. Victoria studied the photo with an intensity that made Nathan's breath catch. She was not just looking at a picture of a cute kid. She was seeing Lucy, really seeing her, the way a person sees something precious and rare. She is beautiful, Victoria whispered. She has your eyes. Actually, she has her mother's eyes, Nathan said. But she has my stubbornness and my terrible sense of humor. She tells jokes that make no sense and laughs anyway. She makes me laugh even when I think I have forgotten how. Victoria looked up from the phone. I would very much like to meet her. Properly, I mean. Not as your wife, not yet. Just as someone who might become important in her life, if she allows it. Nathan felt something shift in his chest. This woman, this stranger who had asked him to marry her less than 20 minutes ago, was asking permission to enter his daughter's life. She was not demanding, not assuming, not treating Lucy as a convenient addition to their arrangement. She was recognizing that Lucy was the center of everything, that her feelings and comfort mattered most. I think, Nathan said slowly, that might be possible. But we take this slowly, very slowly. Lucy has already lost one mother. I will not let her get attached to someone who might leave. I understand, Victoria said. And I promise you this, Nathan Cole. Whatever happens between us, whatever this arrangement becomes or does not become, I will never abandon your daughter. If you let me into her life, I am there for good. That is not something I take lightly, Nathan believed her. He did not know why, could not explain the certainty that settled over him. But he believed every word. They exchanged numbers. They agreed to meet again in 3 days, somewhere casual, somewhere Lucy could come if Nathan decided the time was right. They made a plan that was equal parts terrifying and hopeful. When Nathan finally left the restaurant that night, snow still falling softly on the Manhattan streets, he felt something he had not felt in 5 years. He felt like maybe, just maybe, his life was about to change in ways he could never have imagined. 3 days later, Nathan stood in Central Park, with Lucy's small hand tucked inside his, watching his daughter chase pigeons across the snowy paths. She wore her favorite purple coat with the fuzzy hood, and her laughter rang out like bells every time the birds scattered before her. Victoria was supposed to arrive at noon. It was 11:58, and Nathan's heart hammered against his ribs. He had not told Lucy the full truth. How could he explain that he had agreed to consider marrying a woman he met once, a woman who proposed to him in a restaurant? Instead, he told Lucy they were meeting a new friend, someone who wanted to spend time with them. Lucy had accepted this with the easy trust of children, asking only if the new friend liked painting. Victoria appeared at exactly noon. Walking down the path in jeans and a cream sweater, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She looked different from the polished businesswoman at the restaurant. Softer, somehow more real. She carried a small bag, and when she spotted them, her face lit up with a nervous smile that made Nathan's chest tighten. "Lucy," Nathan called softly. "Come here, sweetheart. I want you to meet someone." Lucy bounded over, snowflakes caught in her blonde curls, her cheeks pink from the cold. She looked up at Victoria with those impossibly blue eyes, curious but not afraid. "Hi," Victoria said, kneeling down to Lucy's height. "My name is Victoria. Your dad told me you are an amazing artist." Lucy's face brightened. "I love painting." "Do you paint?" "I used to, when I was younger," Victoria said. "But I was never very good at it. Maybe you could teach me." Lucy considered this seriously. "What did you paint?" "Flowers, mostly. But they always looked like blobs." Victoria pulled a small sketchbook from her bag. "I brought this, just in case you wanted to draw something today. It has special paper that works really well with watercolors." Lucy's eyes went wide. She took the sketchbook with reverent hands, flipping through the blank pages. "This is for me?" "If you want it," Victoria said. "I thought we could sit on that bench over there and draw together. If that sounds fun?" Lucy looked up at Nathan, seeking permission. He nodded, his throat tight. Victoria had done her research, had thought about what would matter to his daughter. This was not just a gesture. This was care. Building something real. The weeks that followed unfolded like pages in a book Nathan had never expected to read. Victoria came to their apartment for dinner, bringing groceries and helping Lucy make homemade pizza. Laughing when the dough stuck to everything. She attended Lucy's dance recital, sitting beside Nathan in the audience and cheering louder than anyone when Lucy stumbled but kept dancing. She learned to braid hair from online videos, practicing on Lucy until she got it right. Her fingers gentle and patient, Nathan watched Victoria transform from the lonely businesswoman in the restaurant into something more. She smiled more easily now. She made terrible jokes that made Lucy giggle. She sat on the floor playing with toy horses and making up elaborate stories about their adventures. She was not trying to replace Caroline, and Nathan loved her for understanding that. She was simply becoming herself, the person she might have been. If life had not taught her to hide behind success and polish. But it was more than just Victoria changing. Nathan felt himself opening up in ways he had sealed shut after Carolyn died. He talked about his wife without crying, sharing memories with Victoria that he had kept locked away for years. He told her about Caroline's love for terrible reality television, about how she sang off-key in the shower, about the way she could make anyone feel important just by listening to them. Victoria listened, without jealousy, without comparing herself, simply honoring the woman who had come before her. One evening, 2 months after their first meeting, Nathan and Victoria sat on his apartment balcony after Lucy had gone to bed. The city lights sparkled below them, and the winter air had softened into early spring. "I need to tell you something," Victoria said, her voice quiet. "I think I am falling in love with your daughter." Nathan's heart skipped. "Yeah. She asked me today if I could be her extra mom," Victoria continued, tears shining in her eyes. "She said she knows her first mom is in heaven, but maybe she could have 2 moms. One in heaven and one here." And Nathan, I wanted to say yes so badly it hurt. "What did you say?" Nathan asked. "I told her I would love that more than anything, but I needed to make sure it was okay with you first." Victoria turned to face him. This was supposed to be an arrangement, a partnership based on mutual benefit. But somewhere along the way, it stopped being that. At least for me. Nathan reached for her hand. "For me too. When family becomes complicated, not everyone understood." Nathan's sister Emma was supportive but worried, questioning whether they were moving too fast, whether Lucy might get hurt if things fell apart. Victoria's parents were worse. They showed up at her penthouse unannounced one Saturday, their faces tight with disapproval. "You are throwing away your life for a man with baggage," her mother said. The word baggage, landing like a slap when referring to Lucy. "You could have anyone. Why choose someone who comes with so many complications?" Victoria stood her ground. "Lucy is not a complication. She is a blessing. And Nathan is not just anyone. He is a good man who loves his daughter more than anything in the world. That is exactly the kind of person I want in my life." Her father scoffed. "You are being naive. This is not about love. This is about your desperate need to play house because you cannot have children of your own." The words were cruel, designed to wound. Victoria felt them land, felt the old pain rise up. But then she thought of Lucy showing her a painting that morning, of Nathan's hand in hers as they walked through the park, of the way her apartment no longer echoed because she spent most of her time at their place now. "You are right," Victoria said calmly. "I cannot have biological children. But I am becoming a mother anyway, to a little girl who deserves all the love in the world. And if you cannot understand that, if you cannot be happy for me, then I think we need some distance." Her parents left angry. Victoria cried afterward, but Nathan held her. And Lucy brought her drawings to cheer her up, and she realized that this, right here, was her real family. Not the people who shared her blood but could not share her joy. The moment everything changed, spring turned to summer. Victoria moved into their apartment officially, bringing her books and clothes and the ridiculous collection of coffee mugs she had accumulated. Lucy got her own key to give Victoria, a small ceremony she insisted on because families share keys.
Oh.
They became a unit, the 3 of them learning each other's rhythms and quirks and habits. One evening in July, Nathan came home from work to find Victoria and Lucy in the kitchen, covered in flour, attempting to bake cookies. Lucy was standing on a stool, carefully measuring ingredients, while Victoria read the recipe with exaggerated seriousness. They were laughing about something, their voices blending together in perfect harmony. Nathan stood in the doorway, unnoticed, and felt his heart crack open. This was not an arrangement anymore. This was not a partnership or a business deal or a convenient solution to loneliness. This was love. Real, messy, complicated, beautiful love. Victoria looked up and caught him staring. "What?" she asked, self-conscious. "Marry me," Nathan said. Victoria froze. "We are already engaged." That was the whole point. "No," Nathan said, walking into the kitchen. "That was a proposal born from loneliness and desperation. This is different. Victoria Stone, I am asking you to marry me because I love you. Because you make Lucy laugh and you make me believe in second chances. Because you are the best thing that has happened to us in 5 years. Because I cannot imagine my life without you in it. Tears spilled down Victoria's cheeks. Lucy gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. This time, Nathan continued, pulling out a small velvet box he had been carrying for weeks. Waiting for the right moment, I am asking you to marry me for real, not as an arrangement. As my partner, my love, my family. He opened the box. Inside was a simple gold band with 3 small diamonds, one for each of them. Victoria nodded, unable to speak, and Nathan slipped the ring onto her finger. Lucy cheered, jumping down from the stool and wrapping her arms around both of them. The wedding, it mattered. They married 3 months later in a small ceremony at the park where they first met. Lucy was the flower girl, scattering petals with wild abandon. Emma stood as Nathan's witness, tears streaming down her face. Victoria's parents did not come, but she had made peace with that. The family that mattered was right here, as Nathan and Victoria exchanged vows they had written themselves, promising to love and support each other through whatever came next. Nathan thought back to that horrible night at the restaurant. The rejection that had felt like the end of everything had actually been the beginning. Sometimes the strangest proposals lead to the truest love. Sometimes the people who see your pain and choose to stay are the ones who change everything. Sometimes families are not born. They are built, one day at a time, by people brave enough to believe that love can grow in the most unexpected places. Victoria kissed him as the small crowd applauded. Lucy shouted they did it, and everyone laughed. And Nathan knew with absolute certainty that he had found something he thought was lost forever. He had found home. The end.